team that they're going up against, and they started off and they end up losing. And then what happens is halfway through the series they switch over and play Shadow Priest Rogue, and they crawl back in the series, and it's looking like it's going to go their way, and they get to a game 5, and you just can't help but feel like if they had just played Shadow Priest Rogue the entire time, they probably would have won the series. That's happened to them twice now. So my question is, are they just going to say, you know what, whatever, we're the best in Shadow Priest Rogue, we're just going to play that, hope for the best? Or are they going to try something else? And it looks like they are going to try something else with WizK on the Destruction Warlock, and we'll have to see what he's going to be able to get done. I think traditionally this is a matchup that is actually, I don't think M2KC is sad about this. Warlock is going to be a very good target for Drake and Seralium to kind of hit the entire game and try to shut down. And I don't know if Golden Guardians necessarily picked the best comp, but we'll definitely have to see how they play this one out.
All right, already going for blind. Peekaboo leading the charge here, but Drake grapples his weapon. Peekaboo trinkets a grapple weapon to go for a sap and really put the pressure on. How much damage can they find here? WizK needs to land a Chaos Bolt. He's not finding it. He's just fearing Drake and trying to let Peekaboo do the heavy lifting, but Peekaboo's in a polymorph. He's not lifting anything as a sheep. Seralium survives the blind push of Peekaboo and the Vendetta. The next threat is WizK's Dark Soul. They need to get ready for it. Shadow Fury on Drake. WizK lobbing out a bolt. Blazing Barrier to absorb the hit, well timed by Seralium. At the moment, they do have Seralium pinned at the pillar, and this is where I was talking about the differences between Mystery Orgs, Windwalker, Mage Pally, and M2KC, is that M2KC are not afraid to just drag fights on onto dampening. We see Seralium just posted back very defensively, not really making any moves aggressively. I'm curious to see how it plays out for them. They're swapping back to Peekaboo, punishing that Gladiator's Medallion. Oh, Absterge comes in with that clutch sacrifice, though, saving the day.
Beautiful stuff there by Absterge. And you can see his little koala there chilling in the background of his camera. And we're going to see WizK here getting Spelllock, going for some Chaos Bolts. Drake interrupts it. See, can he get some crowd control here? Doesn't look like it. Absterge still pretty far away here, so doesn't look like they can get too much done. And WizK just lobbing out a few bolts here. A lot of pressure onto Seralium, actually. Peekaboo is in there. He has a smoke bomb if he chooses to use it, but right now they're just stacked up, so no opportunity yet for that. He's going to have his blind in about 30 seconds here as well, so there is a lot of damage on the side of the Golden Guardians. They just need to be able to kind of work out a setup. They Repentance Drake right there, but it just gets dispelled. And it's interesting that Absterge is running Repentance, so then we know we could kind of just go in, get a Hammer of Justice, nice little Repentance, to follow it up if Pika can't land a sap, but it's going to be tough. Absterge bubbles the Paralyze right there to try to save Peekaboo from basically 100% certain doom. And honestly, M2KC are doing great so far. Peekaboo's not even going to get the sap at the end of that line, so M2KC just took themselves a nice, massive lead. And Smoke Bomb kind of get wasted there as well, so I'm not sure if Drake actually trinketed the last couple of seconds of that stun there or what's up, but right now I feel like Golden Guardians, they don't have too much offensive pressure coming up anytime soon, and in terms of defense, they blew a lot right there.
We're just seeing M2KC literally get setups out of a Paralyze, so it's just a Paralyze on the healer, allowing Drake to soak up most of the damage. Actually, Cauterize procs there, that's a bit surprising. They let that happen a little bit too late there on the Temporal Shield, unfortunately for Seralium. And they do get the Cauterize, which it's a major objective for the Golden Guardians. If you look at mana, though, Absterge is going to have to drink, and he actually gets counterspelled. Big damage here on WizK, and it does look like Absterge is going to be able to get the Vitality Conduit, but they're just shredding through it. Finally, a big heal lands. Might have been the Hellstone from WizK. Unending Resolve trades as well. I mean, WizK is using a ton of his defense right now in order to survive, and it seems like M2KC, they're pulling further and further ahead in this match.
I think I managed to get sacrificed too here. I mean, that's pretty much every cooldown. Absterge recovered. Dark Soul Chaos Bolt, big hit on Seralium, but he Temporal Shields it. Gonna bounce back a lot of health in a moment, nearly to full. Brain repositioning with Seralium on defense. Drake pulling back as well. Peekaboo just dotting up targets, getting ready, potentially going in. That's the Gladiator's Medallion. There's no leg sweep, but there could be a Hammer of Justice. So Peekaboo, if he goes around that corner, he might just go down. He actually uses Demonic Gateway to escape. Maybe Absterge is trying to drink. Drake rolls up to stop the drink, but he did get a tick. And his mana wasn't looking like in a great position moving into dampening. Stunlock over onto Drake. Trying to swap back to him a bit. WizK polymorph by Seralium. And yeah, M2KC, they just play it safe. They're only going to go with Paralyze. It's an instant guaranteed crowd control, so Ceruleum doesn't need to overextend at any point. They can just pop off with a ton of damage in that small window. If they don't win before dampening, they likely will win with that strategy in dampening, so if they can stay alive to that point, it's going to be the main win condition for them. Peekaboo's trying to end it before that point by using Blind on Brain, but Brain breaks out, and with that Avenging Wrath, he should be able to stabilize. He's charging in, so Brain is getting aggressive here. Paralyze. Are they going to swap to Absterge? No, Polymorph out of the Paralyze. Huge pressure here. No way to escape the crowd control, and that's it for WizK. Lights out. M2KC. Take it. Calm, cool, and collected, and clean.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like Peekaboo was. Not a good game one for Golden Guardians. M2KC going to be winning game number 1 here. Now Golden Guardians here to choose their map here pretty shortly in the draft. Let's break down those final moments, Then, where did it start to go wrong on the side of Golden Guardians? How did they start to win M2KC on the side of M2KC?
Well, it never really felt like the Golden Guardians were winning or really doing much in the match, to be honest. I mean, they got the cauterized once, but this is just one of those matchups where M2KC, it's such an explosive composition. All they need is little micro crowd controls. You can see right now, Brain's going to be rolling over. It's a Paralyze from Drake into a Polymorph into a Hammer of Justice, and it's just like instant crowd control that comes in, and they can basically just 100-0 Peekaboo or WizK with a big combustion. Whereas for Peekaboo and WizK, it's a lot more difficult to sort of it's really hard to create moments of opportunity for them. I feel like if Ceruleum, Drake, and Brain play right defensively, the composition that the Golden Guardians are bringing, it just doesn't feel like it should really win. It just is so difficult with how mobile Paladin, Mage, Windwalker is and how durable they are for Peekaboo to kind of create solo pressure by himself. And if they ever need to, they can just run away from WizK. So it feels like for M2KC, this matchup is in their favor. They're playing it great. And for the Golden Guardians, I don't know if this is their best option. I honestly feel like we'd see it go a little bit better if WizK was on his Shadow Priest potentially. I just don't know if the Destruction Warlock is going to be able to really capitalize on what the Rogue is able to bring in this matchup. But maybe I'm wrong about that.
I feel like, too, Golden Guardians, obviously an incredibly strong team as individuals. They're both, they're all strong on their classes that they play, but what they really struggle with is finding strong answers to a lot of the matches that they find themselves in. They kind of bounce around between compositions, and we see them just in these series such as these just struggle a little bit here, Socrates.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of like you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if they don't play Shadow Priest Rogue, the whole time we're going to be like, why didn't they play Shadow Priest Rogue? And then if they play Shadow Priest Rogue and they lose, we're going to be like, why aren't they expanding their compositions to something more than Shadow Priest Rogue? The Destro Warlock I don't think was a good pick in this particular matchup, but I mean, Rogue Mage Paladin, M2KC lost, so it's proven that it can be an effective composition. It's more or less, can WizK play as well as mages like Jamili and mages like Samayam? Can he pull off the same level of effectiveness in that particular matchup? And if they don't feel confident in that, then they need a different answer. If right now his Shadow Priest is just the best they've got, I think it's the only reason why we would ever say play Shadow Priest in this matchup. I think Holy Paladin with Shadow Resistance Aura would totally just make Shadow Priest useless. The only reason I think it might work here is because it's WizK Shadow Priest.
Yeah, we can see here at the bottom of our screens, M2KC have not lost a match to Golden Guardians, so this is certainly going to be a difficult series for them for the side of Golden Guardians. But looking at the history of the move, we know what this team is capable of. We know these are strong players. This is a strong team. They've been playing together for so long. Their synergy has to be absolute top-notch up to this point, Zigo, and I just feel like, regardless of what we saw in Game 1, I think that we could maybe potentially see this go to a Game 5 regardless.
I could definitely go to a Game 5. I kind of agree with Sid. I want to see Shadow Priest Rogue. The only thing I want to see them alt on, actually, is just a healer. That's it. I want to see Absterge not play the Shaman, because, Shaman's... I don't know about Absterge's win rate on Shaman, but most Shamans have under 50%. So Shaman is a class. Resto has a 35% win rate. So I want to see him on the Paladin, but I don't want the rest of the team to swap off. I really feel like the Rogue Shadow Priest is just so good that they should be fine with it. And I have a question for Sid. Sid, is that a stress ball in your hand that you're...
I'm not squeezing anything. What do you mean? You can't even see my
Well,
hands.
no, but earlier I saw your hands. You were like crushing something. What is that?
It's like a nervous
What about
thing.
the other hand? What's behind?
What's behind door number 2?
Maybe the armrest? Did it look like I was squeezing the armrest?
It looked like you were sitting like this, squeezing something, and I was.
Maybe it's just like
I think I was maybe doing this with the.
It's a
You can't even
thinking
see
pose.
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, thinking.
Sorry, I was just intrigued. I was like, what is that? I need to get that.
Now you make
I
me
need
want to
to
get a
get
stress
that.
ball. Now you make me want to get a stress ball for the Golden Guardian games.
Just get
You should. For the
Man.
mystery org games as well. That was a crazy series.
What do you mean?
This
They're
is
on
so
fire.
difficult.
Mystery Org is like that's like BlizzCon champion form returning to Cedu's team. That was insane. I'm not stressed at
Yeah,
all
that
about
was
them.
And I feel bad for Golden Guardians. I even said this is the exact thing that's always happens. Golden Guardians, they come with a unique composition. We want them to play different classes and, diversify their roster, and then they end up losing. And then they always go back to the Shadow Priest Rogue and it always looks so much better, and it's the closest series on Earth, and I can't believe they're almost going to win, and then they lose. And you just can't help but feel like if they just played their bread and butter and they just stuck to the Shadow Priest Rogue, it's like they're in this situation, like you said, where no matter what they do, no one's going to be happy. If they play Shadow Priest Rogue and lose, we're going to be like, man, they should have diversified. And then if they diversify, we say they should have played Shadow Priest Rogue. And they are, once again,
Yes.
going to be going back to the Shadow Priest Rogue. But here's my problem. I always have faith that Golden Guardians is going to bring it to a Game 5. And now I kind of think that's true. I think we are going to be going to a Game 5. But I feel like it's going to be, I hope it's not one of those situations again where the Golden Guardians, they bring it to a Game 5, every game is so close, and then they
lose.
And it's because they threw game number 1. That would be really sad, because that would be the 3rd series in a row that happens to them.
Well, as well on the side of M2KC, they played that first game really cleanly. We saw them play yesterday. I think Supati's even coined Brain as the hardest Holy Paladin to kill. So we definitely don't want to stop talking about this team as well, because they've just, up to this point, have also been playing really cleanly together as a team, and they've been shaping up nicely so far in the BFA circuit.
Brain is still the hardest paladin to kill, period.
I feel like that's just a made-up statistic where he lived
It's
like
not.
a really close call,
not.
and now Brain is just okay. Do we have a stat on that, production? Can you guys work on that for us? I want
I
to
would've
see how
said-
many
Numbers
times.
to back up this.
I want to see how many times did every single paladin in the AWC die. And
Compared to
died
Brain?
the least amount. Then
He just had,
we're using that stat. We're running with that.
he just had some insane games, and I think Supa is just coining it from there. Is that fair?
No, Brain is
Yeah,
the
no.
hardest paladin in the game to kill.
Just need that to be a lower third. Brain is the hardest paladin to kill, period. Just leave it at that. But both super strong teams. We are really shaping up for a nice series here. For me, I think this might go to a Game 5. These teams are looking super good on both sides. It's just going to be up to Golden Guardians to try and figure out a counter on the side of M2KC. We have Holy Paladin versus Holy Paladin now going. Do we like this switch to Holy Paladin on the side of Golden Guardians, though, Zico?
Yes. This is what I wanted to see in game number 1. I honestly, I think Golden Guardians, their Shadow Priest Rogue.
Yes!
Wait, it's my quote.
That was
Oh, whatever.
That was
Aya's now
yours.
got to be
Oh,
held
you just got
accountable
your
to
quote
it.
yoinked.
it was actually
No,
I
Aya's
originally
now
said
got to
that.
be
You're
held
just
accountable
stealing
to
my
it. I
quotes.
mean, it's
Yeah.
not my problem anymore. It's your problem now. The accountability is your
I believe-
problem now.
I believe in Brain. Anyways, Zico, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. I was just excited about my lower third. You can go.
No, it's okay. I don't know. I feel like for Golden Guardians, the only thing that they really got a multi-class in most of their matchups is just have Absterge off the Shaman. Have him on Mistweaver, have him on Paladin. That's the meta healers. Have him on those two, and then play Rogue Shadow Priest. Try to figure out, your little Golden Guardian ways of winning. Because honestly, I have no idea how they get half of their wins, because it just looks hopeless every time when they turn it around. But I think this is exactly what they need to do, and we'll see if it's enough. Gates have open. Brain already getting kind of crowd control here with that Mind Bomb. Let's see, do they have a sap to follow it up? It doesn't look like it. Whiskey just casting out a few Shadow Ments. He got interrupted on the Master Spell, takes a fat hit, and he is going to disperse right away for Ceruleum's Combust. But Ceruleum's playing short combustion, which means every time he casts a Fireball, you can see his combustion cooldown already getting reduced right there. He's basically an ineffable Truth Mage here.
Yeah, and Ceruleum spamming out those fireballs already has it desynced with Dispersion, so that means there's going to be an opportunity where they can go after WizK. Full Polymorph actually sneaks in onto Absurge, but there's no damage to follow it up, and the Golden Guardians, they have a lot more pressure in this game. Hammer of Justice now into Absurge, but it's still Ceruleum on the back foot. Absurge turns it around with a Hammer of Justice of his own into a Mind Bomb. Good crowd control. Ceruleum is rotting down lower and lower, trying to escape using a Shimmer, maybe even looking for a Polymorph if he can onto Absurge, but a Kidney Shot lands. Nicely done there by Peekaboo, and the Golden Guardians are on fire in this second game.
I mean, they're just going to get a cauterize. They're so close to getting it. Massive pressure from the Golden Guardians in game number 2 here. Brain and the Hammer of Justice. Absurge and a Polymorph, both teams in crowd control. WizK going to fade some of the incoming damage. Brain chooses to use Blessing of Protection to get back in the fight. Double leg sweep set up here by Drake. Tons of damage. Absurge locked down in a Blinding Light. Nice counter aggress here, but a Life Grip on the Ring of Frost by WizK pulls Absurge out of the crowd control chain. And seeing WizK on that Shadow Priest is definitely a treat, despite playing against a compositional disadvantage. That Shadow Resistance aura really reducing WizK's damage. He's going to try and make it work with crowd control and burst, waiting for that Mind Bomb. Silence on the Brain. Where's the follow-up? Beautiful Mind Bomb. They need more, though. Where's the Hammer of Justice? Peekaboo's trying to sap it. He gets the sap on Brain. They need to push for Cauterize, but Ceruleum Frost Nova's Peekaboo. He can't connect. They've still got crowd control. Hammer of Justice now onto Brain. They need more damage. They don't have it. Ceruleum lives the crowd control chain. Beautiful kiting. Absurge pre-sacrifices a Poly. They switch over onto Drake. Brain gets ready with Avenging Wrath. Drake's going to be fine. Peekaboo sitting Polymorphs. Absurge in a stun. 3 versus 1. No, they're going after Absurge. Putting him to the test here. Is he going to flop out in midfield? Vitality Conduit. Absurge stabilizes. And they're going after Ceruleum once again.
All right, let's see what they can get done there. Nice defensive plays there from Absurge, making it out there without really having to use anything. Now, potential pressure point here. Ceruleum lands a full sheep, leg sweep onto Peekaboo. They're going after WizK though. WizK trinketed. I feel like they should have just swapped to Pika there. WizK insta-trinketed that leg sweep. Just turn around, dump your damage on Pika. Maybe you can get Pika's trinket in the process. And you can swap around and have another opening later. But right now, Brain. Oh, nice disarm there. Peekaboo's going to trinket that to go for the sap, but he gets Nova. He can't get it. I think Brain was actually in combat there as well for a second. So Pika wasting his trinket right there and doing it against Windwalker Fire Mage. No sacrifice available. I am so scared right now for Pika. He could easily die in that next leg sweep here, Rookie.
No, there's no question about it. I mean, WizK does have the Void Shift, but if there's cross crowd control on WizK, there's going to be almost nothing that they can do. Paralyze, Hammer of Justice, and here it is. They're going for the big shot, one shot onto Peekaboo, but I don't. What actually happened there? I think WizK, did he get the Master Spell? He dispelled the Hammer of Justice. I thought that was going to be a lot scarier than it was, but M2KC, I think they pulled the trigger a little bit too early, and Peekaboo was able to survive. Now Ceruleum and Drake really rotting down here. WizK able to put out a ton of damage. Full Polymorph secured onto Peekaboo. Ceruleum's just trying to slow down the game, allow Brain just a little bit of breathing room in the game, as we are about 4 minutes elapsed at this point. Both Paladins doing completely fine on mana, and we do have a bit of a reset here on hit points. Brain was able to stabilize M2KC, and now they need to try to find a setup. There's 2 options. They can go after Peekaboo, who has no trinket, or they can kind of continue this rush down, or this rundown of WizK and slowly whittle him down.
Well, they just got sacrificed out of the way from Absurge. I feel like you could just absolutely KO Peekaboo here. Brain and a sap. They're going after Drake. Huge pressure down a half. What's he going to trade? Not trading anything just yet. Bit bold by Drake. Now Fort Brew activates. Should be more than enough. Polymorphs on WizK, Polymorph on Peekaboo. They're getting ready. M2KC are going to push hard here. Peekaboo pre-feints. He anticipates a stun, and he gets it. Absurge dispels the stun. Clutch dispel. No follow-ups. Keeping shot on Ceruleum stalls. Mind control on Drake still just stalling for Golden Guardians. Trying to get a stable footing here, waiting for their Gladiators medallions. And, I mean, the stall is effective. WizK has his Gladiators medallion. Peekaboo's comes up in 9 seconds. Definitely a solid position for the Golden Guardians if Absurge can find some mana. He's falling a bit behind. Paralyzed Poly, triple crowd control. 1 second before Peekaboo's trinket. Wow, he literally just triggered that stun as it became available. Gonna survive. Absurge moves in. Hammer of Justice, kidney shot. Good combo. Where's the Mind Bomb out? Mind Bomb out. Perfect timing by WizK. Where's the silence or the sap? Peekaboo moves in for the sap. Gets it. Cerealium. Is this gonna be the caught? Brain bops and sacks on very low health. It could be the cauterize on top of it. This was the miracle that the Golden Guardians need to stay in the game. They could get a block as well off the back of this. Almost getting the block. It's really one of the last lines of defense. That's exactly what the Golden Guardians needed to stay in this game.
They basically forced out everything there, and now all of a sudden there is all of the pressure on the side of Golden Guardians. Cerealium only has that ice block, but they could master spell that. Brain has this, I guess Brain has some stuff to work with. But now big setup here on the Peekaboo, paralyzed onto Abster. Where's the follow-up? Brain's going for it. He gets the blind. Let's see what they can do. Whiskey's going for the master spell, but Peekaboo not going to be taking too much damage in that setup. Unfortunately, they weren't able to connect it in time there. I think Absurge might have gotten off a pre-vitality. Not sure what happened there, but Pika is going to be able to survive that one, and he should have his trinket, and the next time he gets leg swept, you see they're going to be lining up perfectly there. So now, again, Golden Guardians looking to get aggressive here, getting full dots here onto Cerealium. Can they get some crowd control onto Brain? That would be massive for them. Peekaboo, no smoke bomb yet, but he does have his blind. I would assume he might use it right here, but I think that is a vitality conduit there. I think Brain tried to pre-vitality the blind there potentially, so Pika's still holding on to it for a little bit. Drake in a mind control. Peekaboo, the next time he has kidney, he 100% is going to use that blind, and I think that could be a big pressure point here for the Golden Guardians, but they pounced the trigger first here. Pika in big trouble. Upsurge and a bubble sack right there. So they didn't have the leg sweep, so they went with the Hodge on Pika instead. Nicely done there by M2KC. Kind of equalizing situation here.
Yeah, I really like that play, and I like that Absurge isn't afraid to just trade his cooldowns. WizK actually getting locked out. Do they have the damage to punish that? Doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Absurge easily heals through it right now. 14% dampening with Sap over onto Brain. Nice moves there by Peekaboo. Vendetta is rolling on Cerealium. He has no ice block. Gets bursted down by the Drestagath, but the double leg sweep comes in from Drake, shutting down the damage just a little bit. Polymorph now secured onto Absurge. WizK, does he have a mind control? Does he have a master spell? Opting not to remove that crowd control, or maybe the master spell just isn't available, but Absurge does have catch up to do right now. Big Divine Favor heals on Peekaboo, will stabilize him, and now it's going to be up to the Golden Guardians to try to reverse the pressure a little bit. Hammer of Justice onto Brain. Drake actually rotting down and maybe going after Windwalker Monk. A little bit more dampening is going to be a good option for the Golden Guardians. Mana is equal at this point, and at this point it really is anyone's game.
Absurge and Polymorph, WizK in the stun, switching the Polymorph over. Peekaboo pre-feints. He expects to be the target. They're actually going after WizK still, but WizK has a lot of defensives. I wonder a swap to the Paladin might be in the cards here for M2KC in the near future. No Divine Shield. Silence on Brain into Mind Bomb. Does he have the Mind Bomb out? No Mind Bomb. Drake is still very low, though. Fist of Fury flying. Peekaboo's in a poly. Good defense by Cerealium. Absurge is charging in. Is he going to get the hammer? He's not going for it. He gets caught by a poly. Both healers in crowd control. This could be devastating for either side. There's the Mind Bomb out. Drake's in trouble. 5 seconds away from his karma. Brain's gonna have to make a maneuver here. Nice Dragon's Breath by Cerealium. Breaks the chain, and Brain gets tons of healing out as a result of that Dragon's Breath. Now Absurge needs to get ready. Brain's Hammer of Justice, potentially the Blinding Light going to be available. Brain's moving in. Hammer of Justice, double leg sweep. No trinket for Peekaboo, but they're still going after WizK, it looks like right here. Oh, nice life grip by WizK, pulling Absurge into the Meteor and breaking the Blinding Light. Now Absurge turns it around with Hammer of Justice, but Drake pre-walls the kidney shot. Insane plays from both sides, but that defense is faded. Peekaboo's trying to close out and sap out of the Mind Bomb. Beautiful sap timing once again on these Mind Bombs by Peekaboo. Drake rolls out. Is there a bop for the Karma here? That's likely going to have to be pulled. There's the Karma. Where's the bop? They have the bop. They have the bop. They're going for the win here in game 2. Can Brain stabilize? Drake's on the run. Polly's on Peekaboo. Swapped over to Absurge. Might not have been needed. Grab a weapon on Peekaboo. He's not going to get any damage out. Drake slowly but surely recovering, and these teams are looking a lot more evenly matched in game 2.
Yeah, definitely. And Absurge just got his bubble there as well. So Brain is gonna be behind on mana. Does have his bubble still to work with. Shram's getting his cauterize back, and right now, no real openings here. Pika still has his trinket, WizK has his disperse. So I would actually say Golden Guardians are in a slight lead, and right now they're looking to potentially extend it even further. They blind Brain immediately using that blessing of protection, and Smoke Bomb does get dropped. Drake trinkets out of that, actually rolls out of that one before he gets stunned. Nice Dragon's Breath there by Cerealium as well. keeping Peekaboo and Whiskey kind of in place there during that go. And now Ceralium might look for a polymorph here onto Abster. He's completely free. Mind Bomb comes out. Ceralium, what are you going to do? You have to shake Abster. He's going to get a Hammer of Justice. He doesn't get it, but they do get the sap. Drake all on his own. He does have the Ford Brew. Might need to use it here. He's trying to green it. Ow!
Oh, what?
What?
No!
What was that? What was that Kamehameha, man?
That was called the Drestigath, and Peekaboo cannot believe it. I mean, Golden Guardians, they were doing so well in that match, and Drake just comes in with a surprise one-shot at 30% damage. He can't believe what just happened. They're so sad.
We were farming.
Well,
Carl, what's up?
Yeah, we're gonna see the replay. I mean, that's the equivalent of like a down goes Venruki, but it was just a massive one-shot onto WizK there. The Drestigath, I wonder if it was paired with like a Rising Sun Kick or a Whirling Dragon Punch, because that was a crazy, unexpected burst of damage.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, well done by M2KC. 2-0 now. Golden Guardian, super unfortunate way to end that game. Replay coming up soon here, so we can break down what exactly happened there. It seemed like no one really expected that, especially considering the look on Peekaboo's face, Zico.
Yeah, I mean, that's gotta be like a dressed plus, a Rising Sun Kick or something. It's gotta be a double crit there as well, and maybe something proc. That was insane. Okay, so we're gonna see the scoreboard here. Look at Drake's damage. It looks pretty good. And Ceralium actually kind of shut down in terms of damage, but it landed quite a bit of crowd control here. Brains healing very high. Compared to Absterge, actually. Absterge's damage. Look at those big damn judges from Absterge Pally as well. I mean, I feel like the game was going really good for Golden Guardians, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I think the scoreboard kind of backs that up as well. And all of a sudden, Drake just had enough.
Well, it is going to be their map pick coming up here, so that will put them at just an advantage in terms of that. They get to choose where they go next. Do you think maybe if they get a redo here, they can pull it off, as it was going pretty well for them last game here, Golden Guardians, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's got to be really disappointing for the Golden Guardians and any other fans, because I mean, unless, WizK was a fortune teller, there's no way he was going to use his dispersion there. That damage was borderline ridiculous with how fast he ended up going down there. So super unfortunate, because I think Peekaboo, WizK, and Absurge did a good job in that match with that composition. But Brain, Ceralium, Drake were able to hold on, find that big one-shot, and that's the great thing about their composition, is the Windwalker Monk with the Drestigath has a lot of burst damage available with that Fire Mage, and they're able to find wins like that. They can last a long time, and then they eventually find that one-shot kill, and that's a big part of that composition. So Golden Guardians, what I'd like to see for them in game number 3 is just play the same thing. I don't know what map is going to be best for them, but play the exact same composition. Maybe you go to a small map like Black and Cold, something like that, and we can actually see. Okay, that was. I'm gonna need a replay of the replay actually, and slow it down a little bit. But yeah, that was pretty fast. And I mean, you can see Whiskey, he had life swap, he had dispersion.
Oh, look at this time travel.
Let's go. I like that. Look at this. All right, here we go. Play in 1/4 speed. Thank you.
One
right,
frame per second.
Let's see what happens here.
He fades. All right, he's on top of Drake. Drake's like, okay, WizK, you're at half health. Rising Sun Kick, Pyro Dressed. So it's just like 4 abilities hit him at the same time, and they probably all crit.
Yeah.
He literally seemed to go, what?
He still doesn't know what's going on right now.
He was thinking a moment like, wait, what happened?
It's like sinking in that he just lost. He's like, wait. And now he's like, oh my goodness, what? Like, what?
Certainly not a place those guys want to be. Now M2KC playing super well here on match point. This is best of 5 once again. Only need to win this next one if they want to beat Golden Guardians in this series. They've picked Ruins of Lordaeron. That's going to be the next map. M2KC playing Windwalker Fire Mage once again. Golden Guardians, it sounds like, Ven, you want them to stick to their composition, as that last game did go pretty well. Zico Subites, what about you guys? What do you think that Golden Guardians should do here?
Same comp. They were winning that game. Like that was just completely unexpected. Kind of, random one shot, it happens. I think you just brush that off and you queue up again, and I think that's very smart. I think this is what they should have looked in game one. I swear, Golden Guardians could easily win this series. I mean, they still can, but when you're down 2 games, it's tough. And I feel like one game was a big throw because they just locked in a straight up bad matchup, and the second game was just, I don't know, kind of unfortunate.
Mentally too, it's got to be tough being down 2 games, Super Tees as well.
I feel like in that game, WizK was like so tanky and durable. They're like chilling for 10.5 minutes. Like, there's no way WizK can die. And maybe they like let their guard down because you're just 10.5 minutes into a game. So they have to be playing on the edge of their seat the entire time. Otherwise, those little slippery, dressed-to-gas spines coming from the ground just gonna clutch out a kill, clutch out a win, maybe the entire series. And Golden Guardians can't afford any more losses in the circuit. I mean, they're gonna fall so far behind. If they do, it's going to be piling up on them, so they need a reverse sweep here.
Yeah, not a place any team wants to be. These teams are fighting within their region to get to that top 4 spot. Golden Guardians really needs to turn this around if they want to find themselves in that top 4 spot in the end of this BFA circuit. But M2KC playing extremely well here. They're certainly in a good spot, but what about this map choice? Do we think that might be good, or is M2KC just gonna maybe take home another 3-0 here, or sorry, a 3rd game win then?
I mean, it's definitely possible. It's a small map, anything can happen, but I think more often than not in that matchup, we saw M2KC kind of utilizing the pillars to run and hide, which is the way that matchup kind of plays out. So Ruins of Lordaeron kind of eliminates that potential a little bit for M2KC, and it's going to allow the Golden Guardians to, push through, continue their crowd control, potentially look for mass dispels, and just play their style, which is that all-out aggression, all-out crowd control, keep the enemy team on the back foot. And I think if they can play that game, they definitely have a fair shot to come back in this game. Maybe even the series, but it's going to be a tall order at this point. I mean, they really needed that last win, but the Golden Guardians still not out of it yet.
Whoa, that was even faster than last game.
BM production.
All right, game here started. Game number 3, M2KC versus Golden Guardians, 2-0.
Ruins of Lordaeron, a place that we've seen quite often on Match Point, and a place that would be well suited as a final fitting resting place, as it is a cemetery. Will the Golden Guardians be sent to the grave here on Match Point, or can they battle it back? Looks like immense amount of pressure thrown out here by both sides with crowd control engaged, but no follow-up just yet. Hammer of Justice now, WizK down at 80%. Smoke bomb dropped. Peekaboo trying to make a power play on the Drake here, but not even scratching Drake during that smoke bomb. Both teams look stable in the first couple of seconds.
Yeah, and we're going to see a full sheep snuck in onto Absturge, but he did get the Vitality Conduit beforehand. See, can he get the Ceralium is kicked on fire. He's going to be able to potentially get kidney shot. He actually trinkets out of that kidney shot brain now in a Hammer of Justice. WizK looking to power up here. He gets the Mind Bomb. Let's see, can he get the sap? Peekaboo's already disarmed. Drake knows what he's up to, and Peekaboo's not going to trinket that. Instead, he wants to save his trinket in case he gets disarmed when he goes for that blind sap. Much more reliable to land that one than to land it out of a blinding light, especially when you're playing against the Relentless Pally. So Pika is going to be having a good decision making right there. Full kidney on Ceralium, a lot of damage, and there's the blind. Gets bopped out by Brain right there, and that gives Pika now an opportunity to potentially try to vanish sap at the end of this Hodge. I think he should go for it because at this point he's going to have his vanish line up anyway with this trinket, but instead he is going to just sit back and tank a lot of damage there actually in that leg sweep. Absturge still in a blinding light. Peekaboo in a little bit of damage here, a little bit of trouble, but looks like he is going to stabilize. Now they're back onto WizK. Absturge is taking a lot of damage. Ceralium activates the combustion right now, looking to do fat damage, but it gets immediately dispelled there. Great job by WizK. Now kidney on Ceralium. Absturge looking for crowd control. They get the silence. Absturge looking for the mind bomb Hodge combo here potentially. He needs to get one big damn judge before he can reset it. Now he has it, but he gets sheep. Not going to be able to find that, and now all of a sudden WizK is the one in trouble here, Ben.
I mean, definitely with no dispersion, could be in a little bit of trouble, but still has the Void Shift, and Trinket is rotating back up. So there's still answers here for the Golden Guardians. Peekaboo looking for kidney shot onto Drake. Now going after Ceralium just a little bit, having multiple pressure points is kind of the style of the Golden Guardians. Ceralium taking the brunt of the damage though as he gets interrupted. Any crowd control on Brain could be deadly to Ceralium. They could force out the Cauterize, it could force out the Ice Block. Peekaboo now caught into a Polymorph, and Ceralium actually switches it over to Absurge. Nicely done. Garrote kitty shot onto Ceralium, but the double life sweep coming in from Drake and WizK. I don't want WizK to play too scared in this matchup. I mean, he got absolutely obliterated, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Definitely don't want him to panic use Dispersion or Void Shift if he gets to, 50% health like we saw in the last game. Absurge actually forced to trade out his Divine Shield, so M2KC doing a great job getting those offensive cooldowns out of the way. And WizK actually gets interrupted and destroyed. No! Once again, Absurge gets caught into the crowd control and an interrupt on WizK. He had the answers, he had the cooldowns, but that counterspell, I believe it was, from Ceralium allows him to burst through, take him down, and that's going to be a 3-0 for M2KC. That was kind of a one-sided series, but you got to feel for the Golden Guardians because game number 2, game number 3,